Hi, welcome. So we're a couple of days before the full moon in Virgo, which is called the worm moon, which is also called the blood worm moon. And I was like, why so many words? Well, there's a full lunar eclipse that's happening, and I guess those only happen about every 2.5 years. So it's kind of a big deal. And it should look kind of red in the sky because of the way that we're positioned directly between the moon and the sun, and the way that the sun rays like go through the Earth's atmosphere to project onto the moon. It's going to be an eclipse, yet with a red hue. I don't know, that's what the internet says. But then I was thinking about this full moon in Virgo, which, Virgo is very grounded, practical, a lot of discipline, routine, responsibility. And so that's what we think of when we think of Virgo. And so what I'm wondering is, what is that? What is there to learn from that in this full moon cycle, where typically with full moons, it's illuminating things for us to release or to heal, or to just come into relation with in a different way. And so I pulled out our Zodiac Tarot deck because I love this for when we do readings about what's out there in the sky. And so let's just see what this will tell us about this full moon cycle we're in now. What energy, what are the energies surrounding this particular full moon that we can learn from, that we can feel into? And it's always for personal growth, right? And I feel like that's another Virgo thing, which is like a very grounded way. It's not maybe like the ultimate spiritual journey, but it's like practical growth, self-growth, personal growth. It's like going to the Barnes and Noble, going to a real brick and mortar bookstore and going to the self-help section. Like, that's the kind of transformation or growth that I'm feeling the vibe of with this full moon in Virgo. But we'll see. So thank you, Spirit, for that. Let's do, because it's a full moon, I kind of want to get into the subconscious a lot more. So we'll do a different kind of spread here. Okay. Let me think. I got to put my intention in this. What I'd like to do is a 9-card spread in a spiral to go in like a circle shape with the moon. Okay. So what energies are there right now? We have the 4 of Swords. That's the energy going inward to seek your higher wisdom. We have the Hierophant. Oh. And the Queen of Swords, Justice, the Hanged Man, another card of gaining new perspective. And then we have the 6 of Cups, ooh, 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 and the Wheel of Fortune, the Moon. How appropriate, you might say. And the 5 of Swords. Ooh, ooh, let's do an overall energy. The High Priestess. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. You know what? This is great. This is great because we have the High Priestess as the overall energy, where we have the moon. We have a lot of major arcana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 10 cards are major arcana. So you might say this full moon, the full moon in Virgo, the full worm moon in Virgo, the full blood worm moon in Virgo, all the words, that makes sense why this is like so big, this big energy, and it only comes around to every 2.5 years. Okay, let's go. So I'm going to clarify as we go, because I don't think we'll do an extended. I think we'll just get right to it. Okay. So what I like to do is I want to pull a clarification for each of these cards to really tap straight into what this is telling us. What deck do I want to use? I keep using my Light Seers Tarot a lot, which I love, but I want to give some other things a chance. Okay, this is what's calling to me. Cats rule the earth. There's a lot of, it gives off kind of these tarot vibes. It's like if cats became, not tarot, but like zodiac vibes. If cats became astrologers, that's what this is like. That's what this feels like. So let's clarify the High Priestess, please. I feel like I want to shuffle these more. Hold on. They're calling me for a little bit of this, which I don't do often on camera because I'm not good at it. There we go. High Priestess. We have the Magician. Oh my gosh. The Devil. Holy crap, you guys. What's happening? 5 of Cups. Okay. I can't even with this. This will come back to, because it'll make a lot more sense when we get through this, because the High Priestess and the Magician together, this is full on magical moments. And here I'm like, Virgo, so grounded. This is like practical real life stuff. Yet there's all this element of intuition and magic and manifestation and anchoring in what your higher wisdom is down into the real world, which that makes a lot of sense for Virgo. And then the Devil, that's what's a little interesting here with the 5 of Cups, because the Devil is saying, okay, with 5 of Cups, so the Devil can be self-sabotaging kind of energy or self-defeating behaviors we need to release. And the 5 of Cups is, look at this cat, literally, oh, you can't see, literally knocking over the cups. Like, of course, cats do that, but it's like just focusing on spilling stuff, which means the Devil in this is the more you focus on lack, the more you keep creating that in your energy field, right? Scarcity mindset begets more scarcity. So there's something here about stop doing those self-destructive behaviors, because there's an energy momentum behind that. Just like on the opposite side, when you put out the positivity, there's an energy momentum that keeps the positivity going, meaning the good things coming toward you versus the not so good. So we're going to we'll just set this aside because this is huge. Let's clarify the 4 of Swords. We have the Ace of Cups. So when I'm going to move this over even more. That sounded like Three's Company. If you're old like me, you know that show. So the 4 of Swords. Sorry, my phone just turned on. It's magic. So the 4 of Swords with the Ace of Cups. And let me pull one more. The 2 of Wands. Okay. So when we're going inward to seek our higher wisdom, what's going to happen here is this gift. The Ace is a divine gift of like this knowing, a deep knowing of purpose. Because with the 2 of Wands, that's saying, I'm so comfortable, but I'm being pulled out of my comfort zone in service and to find my purpose in service of the world beyond myself. I'm comfortable right here, but this is all about me right here. I'm fully comfortable. And then this is saying, when we start to really inquire, what am I meant to do here? What's my purpose? This is coming through a lot lately, this whole idea of purpose. This is calling us out of our comfort zone. This 2 of Wands keeps popping up over and over. It's like as we get closer to this full moon, that energy's been coming towards us. And so there is a divine gift coming of you stepping into your purpose by way of being called out of your comfort zone. So we'll see. That might not be a quick journey, but just know that things are about to get uncomfortable, but for the greater good. Okay. Let's clarify the Hierophant. So that's our current energy, right? We're like, we're ready to go internal. We're ready to be called out of our comfort zone. We're ready for that. That's why it's here in the immediate energy. And then in our immediate subconscious, what we may not be looking at is the Hierophant, which is like another symbol of seeking wisdom. And so it might be from a mentor, it might be from somebody in our physical reality, but sometimes it's also our higher wisdom of ourself. So let's clarify what this is. We have the Three of Pentacles. So in this case, there's something about the Three of Pentacles is also kind of a teacher energy. It's like you could be looking for someone who is skilled in something to learn from. And does that ring a bell for you, or does that resonate for you with what you think your purpose might be? Do you feel like you need some more education before you can really feel skilled at it? Let's find out. And we have the Three of Wands, which is interesting, coming right off that Two of Wands. The Three of Wands is saying, now I am ready I'm outside of my comfort zone now, and I'm looking out at the world and saying, what am I going to do? It's like you've moved beyond your comfort, beyond your home, beyond all you've ever known, and you're like, oh my God, now what? Now what? And so there's something about, maybe you feel like in that energy of, I'm ready, but I still don't feel like I have enough knowledge or wisdom, something I'm seeking from outside myself. And yet, what you may ultimately learn is that the wisdom is already within you. But right now the energy is, I feel like it's outside of me. Meaning I just need to take a class. I need to find a teacher, a coach, a mentor, whatever that is. Tap into that feeling. So let's clarify the Queen of Swords. This is our subconscious, or what we may not be seeing in our immediate past leading up to this point. And the Queen of Swords is very much like, she has her way of seeing things. And then we have the King of Cups. That's funny, because those are kind of like opposite energies a little bit. And then the Knight of Pentacles. These cards are hilarious. I can't hold them up, or because I'm trying to go quickly here. But I guess I could. I don't know why I said I couldn't. See, I can. I just want you to enjoy these cards as much as me. So this is interesting, because what this is saying is, we want to move away from, out of that Queen of Swords, where we have our perception of the world. We know our perception is the right one, and we keep people a little at arm's length, because our way is the right way, and I don't want you influencing me. I feel like I'm generous enough of mind to help you, but yeah, I don't want you to get so close as to influence my perception. I'm kind of rigid right now in that way. And so the King of Cups is all like in his flow state. So we're kind of moving that way, but it's been a very slow road with that Knight of Pentacles. He's the slow knight. He's steady progress, so slow. But ultimately we get there. It's just that maybe you feel like leading up to this point, this has been a slow journey of getting out of more of that rigid mindset, more into flow. And so just feel into that, because where it's ultimately leading is out of your comfort zone. It's just been a slow road so far to get there. So help us clarify the Justice. We have the Ten of Cups, which is like ultimate fulfillment and happiness. And that's in our recent past, in our material existence, like in the real world, what we're dealing with in our surroundings. And then we have the Emperor. Oh, Okay, so this is saying like there's again some rigidity in your material world as well, which makes sense because in your mind state, in your subconscious, it's there. Of course, it's going to manifest in your reality. It's this emperor, this rigidity is keeping you from ultimate fulfillment, because you feel like you see the truth of things. That's how you perceive yourself, as a truth seer. And you feeling like the world has to be just. And you know what? Sometimes it just isn't. And there's that like emperor energy of, but it just should be. It has to be. And then this 10 of Cups, it could be saying like you do have some amount of joy, fulfillment, happiness, love in your life. But the emperor is really in that rigidity of looking out at the world like you expect it to be just, fair, like not a cruel world. But in your mind, you're like, but it is a cruel world. But then ultimately, like, spoiler alert, it's not if you come into a state of acceptance. So this is saying like there's this rigidity here happening that's really ultimately keeping us from recognizing the fulfillment in our lives we already have around us. It's keeping us out of gratitude because it's like, oh, it should look this way. It's just like, oh, the world is so harsh. Why does it have to be that way? So let's move into the recent past in our conscious thoughts and actions, which we have the Hanged Man, which is this desire that we've had. We're trying to gain a new perspective. We're contorting ourselves, and it's a bit uncomfortable trying to gain this clarity. And so tell us more about that. We have the Page of Swords. You can't see this, so I'll put it here. Page of Swords is like, you do have this like enthusiasm, or this like really this motivation to learn a new way of seeing things. You have a motivation of the mind up to this point. And then the Six of Swords, oh my gosh. And that's this Six of Swords is the healing, the like what we call the healing journey. And there's something here that's, oh, this, I swear this is about moving out of that rigidity. That's what we're trying to release with this full moon, I guess. Which makes sense that that's in Virgo, because Virgo is very practical. A lot of, like I said, duty, responsibility, routine. Which is funny that this moon in Virgo would be calling us to release some of those exact traits, tendencies. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Especially because we have the moon here. The moon is all about like opposites reflecting each other. And it's like you'd think like, oh, we should be more like Virgo. But yet the Virgo full moon with this moon card here is saying, maybe we should be a little less Virgo-y. I love that. So then the Six of Swords is really saying this healing is what we've been desiring. But we've been working on, but it's been very slow going because we have this rigidity that's just like, and I'm telling you, from living and being married to a Virgo, let's just not say anymore, okay? Let's just not go there. Oh man. So I have personal, real life, up close and personal experience with that Virgo energy. And honestly, it complements me so well because I'm a Cancer, all water, with Leo rising, and my moon in Scorpio, another water, but deep water. So that grounded energy really helps me a lot. And I help him too. So we complement each other. But yeah, I deal with that energy a lot of the rigidity. But again, it complements me so well. So I shouldn't say deal. I should say, like, yeah, I'm presented with it on a daily basis. So I've learned, yeah, how to work with it to each of our advantage. So anyway, enough said. In our immediate conscious thoughts and actions, like right now in the present, we have the Six of Cups. So there's this wanting to heal, which is interesting, coming right out of the healing card and the leading up to this. What this is saying is what we're actually healing are something from the past, and it could be just how did we get into this state of rigidity? What really led us here? If we did an extended, we'd dive deep into that to see what could be revealed. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do an extended. But this Six of Cups is saying there's this looking back in the past with a bittersweet, nostalgic feeling, and to see like giving grace to yourself or to whatever circumstances may have led to this, like, things gotta look a certain way, and why am I like this? So there's a gentleness of spirit when looking back at that. So it's a great place to be on a healing journey. That's an openness that I feel coming through this card, saying, I'm going to talk to my younger self, in a very loving way. So let's clarify this. And we have the Sun. Oh, that's beautiful, because that's pure optimism. To go back, that's exactly what we were just saying, like looking back with a loving spirit, like there's such, like, shining a light into the past. And then we have the Queen of Swords again. This is what it's calling us to heal. And this is because it's in the subconscious, it's a little bit deceptive. It's like this queen is like, she really does have this duality to her of like, come closer. Oh, close enough. I feel like that's what we're being called to heal. So there's something in our past. God, I want to go into my inner child cards a little bit. So that's confirmation. That's what we're being called to heal, through optimism, through love, not through judgment, because that's where we are today. You have to apply the opposite energy, the antidote to rigidity, which is like loving kindness. Loving kindness. Buddhist philosophy, loving kindness. So let's move on into the immediate future conscious state, the Wheel of Fortune. What's that telling us? The wheel, it means a lot, but it goes round and round. Cycles of change. We have the Queen of Pentacles, another queen. The Queen of Pentacles is very nurturing. She's like the mother of tarot. And she's very grounded, because she's caring for the things in her real life experience. And I wonder what that's telling us with the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have the King of Wands. So what's interesting about Queen of Pentacles with water and earth, and then we have fire and fire. So there's something about this wheel that keeps going round and round that keeps us kind of moving between these energies of like nurturing groundedness, and then this fiery passion of just like ready to just burst forth in action. But he's not hasty. Some might say he could be, but he's tapping into that. He knows about divine timing. He knows about that concept. And so he's not too hasty. And yet the Queen of Pentacles is anything but hasty. And so there's this energy of moving between like this, it's like that, those cycles of inner, outer, feminine, masculine, like this receptivity, nurturing, and then the outward action of the King of Wands. And so there's something about like another go with the flow kind of energy, whereas we have rigidity here and like duty, responsibility. You can have all of that, but it's calling us into like flowing through cycles versus like staying so rigidly in one place. So let's clarify with the moon, what's in our immediate future real life experience, because the moon is really calling us to usually illuminate something for release, like dredge it up from the depths and release it, especially like this is where we're going with this full moon, usually about release, and here's the full moon in our immediate future. So let's clarify that. We have the Four of Cups. Another cat knocking things off the counter with a happy face. He's like, oh my gosh. And that's kind of funny. I'll explain. And then we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is, you know how I said this Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight? Well, the Knight of Swords is the fastest knight. Oh, and so there's water and air energy here. The moon is, wow. So right now with the Four of Cups, there's usually this sense of like we are digging our heels in a little bit. So there's a little bit of resistance energy, or just not wanting to see like the truth of the situation or the gifts coming at you, like what's right in front of you, this gift of being able to be in a flow state, because that's what you desire in the future. But in our immediate future, what we're seeing is the moon is saying, yeah, now it's time to heal that, come out of that resistance state. And the Knight of Swords is this, again, it's almost like it's like two extremes of this energy. So this is saying the moon is like, don't flow between the extremes. This is calling us into more balance. Like what you desire is to be between this, like, oh, Queen of Pentacles, like really nurturing the things in your life, but caring for them. It's about family. Virgos, yeah, they're like a deep responsibility to family. And the King of Wands is like this, feels like Sagittarius energy, like this energy of like bursting out into the world in action. And so there's this flowing between those states, whereas, and the moon is saying, now if you take those two extremes, you become kind of rigid, unmoving. And then Knight of Swords, like way off, in like way cart before the horse, flying out over, you know, off the cliff, because you just, and so those are the extremes of this energy. What you desire is the light, the positive side of that energy. What this is saying is like, yeah, now we're going to heal the shadow side of that energy so you truly can achieve that. And how do you get there, man? So this Five of Swords, this is, in the future subconscious, I really have to clarify this, because the Five of Swords is really about a lot of things, of course, like all of them, but one of the main things is where, like, kind of looking at maybe some past moments or parts of your life where there's been hurt, where there's been self-deceiving behaviors or self-sabotaging behaviors, especially thoughts, because of swords. And it's Five of Transformation. It's a temporary kind of energy. It's like sparking a change to come out of that self-deception or self-harmful thoughts. But I'm curious, let's clarify, because that's in our future subconscious state, or what remains hidden in the future, perhaps, if we don't heal all of that. We have the Four of Wands. Oh, because that's stability. That's happiness. That's like celebration energy. And then we have Judgment, which is flying all over the place. Judgment is what you might think of as like judging and criticism. It's not that at all. It's full on awakening and acceptance. So that's where we're going in the subconscious, and like our deepest desires in the future is we want harmony in the home, celebration, happiness, and at the same time we want full on acceptance for being able to come out of this rigidity. Like, it takes acceptance to get here. And that means maybe looking back in our lives where this rigidity has been a little harmful to ourselves and to the people around us. And I fully know that that's possible for this full moon in Virgo. Like, that's what the Virgo energy desires ultimately, is they don't want to be so dug in, right? I know it's possible for them, for Virgos, to desire change. They actually do. They desire that. And I'm making obviously a very broad statement. Maybe on the surface it doesn't look like it, but we can tell here that's exactly what they desire, and it is possible. So what the full moon in Virgo means for all of us is really just coming into that. I think it's recognizing, it's like a very grounded recognizing where we might be too dug in, and then sometimes we might say, well, then I'm just going to go to the opposite extreme, and that's saying, whoa, slow your roll. This full moon is saying we don't want to go to extremes on either end of that. We don't want to dig more in, and we don't just want to say, well, if I'm being called to change, then I've got to change all the way. And that might be a Virgo thing to think, and that's not what we need to be doing here. This is saying, like, ultimately we want to flow with the cycles of change and flow between nurturing, loving our family, our sphere of influence, our tribe, and then also having this passion to go out in the world and just live our purpose. And this is calling us into a balance for both of those. And I love that. So what do you need to release then? Because full moons, like with full moons, we didn't read it here, did we? We want an oracle message. Full moons, you can write something down and put it into a full moon, like a fire. Like, a lot of full moon ceremonies have that aspect to them. Like, everybody write down something you want to release. Maybe you can do that release ceremony with this, like coming out of that heels dug in state, but staying within wherever that comfort zone on that spectrum is, between living your purpose and still taking care of the people around you, because you're a caretaker. You love being the rock. You're the rock. So where in your life do you really love being that support system for others while still living your passion and purpose out in the world? And see, like, what is that balance for you? So what I want to do, because I don't think we'll go into an extended, but I do want to do one more thing to give us a closing message. And because it's a full moon, I want to pull out my astrology oracle. Boop. And give us, I'll probably end up putting that there, so I'll put that there. And see, like, what planetary and energy would help support this reading. Thank you, Spirit. Because these have very practical, like, it kind of gives us glimpses into our personality and like the light and shadow aspects of that, which is kind of like this moon energy here. So I think this will really help complement it. And so we have Uranus, interesting. I always like to pull 3 of these. Don't ask me why. Sun, Venus, and Chiron, Neptune. Ooh, cool. I don't even know where I had this. I think it was over here somewhere. So let's do these. 59, Uranus. Well, flipped right there. That's cool. You draw the best out of all creative minds and hearts. You are the original of the originals, and you spark the most outrageous and compassionate spirit in everyone. The shadow side of this might be you rock the boat just to tip people over, and bang, bang, blow it up. Reckless and dangerous are your motives. I love how they write these. And I think that's what this is saying is like, you don't have to go to those extremes. Like, just because you're being called out of rigidity doesn't mean you have to like, rock the boat just to tip people over. That's the opposite. You don't do that. And then taking the initiative to change things positively, you are able to truly inspire others to think outside the box. You are a shapeshifter and constantly upgrade vibrations to serve the collective. So you are that rock for people. You are that support system. You just don't have to go to the extremes, which you don't want to. Not really when you're in harmony with this energy. You don't want to. Sun, Venus. So harmony in relationships is your art form. That's what we just talked about. People feel your warmth and grace in the way you see them and yourself, and nurtured, balanced connections. People feel your warmth, like they feel seen. Like you nurture people. Relationships with earth and all living things are your life practice. You exude and exemplify a sense of self that is interconnected and in balance with life itself. And so this is interesting because the shadow element of this might be you are obsessed with your relationships to the point that they take over your life. Your codependency is legendary. I do feel like that might be Virgo energy. Like your people are so important to you, and that's a good thing. And it might be like you act out selfishly because you feel entitled to others' love and consideration. You feel that others owe you because you give so much. You are such a giver. So if you take that to the shadow extreme, that might come out, but that's not where we're going. You exercise great discipline and wisdom in understanding others' needs and acting on behalf of what is best for the relationship as the whole. Oh, it's so grounded. The tension you feel between self-focus and the need for harmony in the world leads you to teach the art of balance to others. You inspire folks to believe that decentralizing the self in favor of honoring the beauty of all of life will lead to fulfillment. That is you, isn't it? Chiron, Neptune, 57. I love that so much. Chiron. I love reading Chiron ones. And this one's not as long. You are gifted at multidimensional healing. You are a renowned energy healer. There is a shadow element to this, though, that you are lost in escapism as a way to avoid pain. Interesting. And you use addiction to flee from your trauma. Well, that can be any of us. But the positive parts are you use divine spiritual tools to address trauma. You are able to clear trauma through energy work and meditation. And so Chiron is that healer energy. And so I think that helps complement, like I said, maybe I'm not going to do an extended where we go into your past, but this might become because we have this childhood stuff here, like this deep past energy coming forth. Like if you feel like it, tap into what we read there about Chiron and see if that resonates with you and what you're healing from your past. Are there traumas that have led to this state of rigidity that you could tap into? We could definitely, if you want to do a one-on-one reading, that would be amazing to tap into. We could go in the Wayback Machine if you want and see how to heal that, because that ripples forward in time. You're going to feel that present day when we heal those old wounds. So feel free to reach out for a personal one-on-one reading, and we'll do that. So thank you for being here. I hope you have a good full moon in Virgo, full worm moon in Virgo, full blood worm moon in Virgo, all the words. This is pretty cool. I think this is still very grounded energy, that it's really calling us to move into the middle ground, out of rigidity, but not flying off the deep end, not going to extremes, but kind of coming a little bit out of that set in our ways energy. And so by the way, let's first of all get back to this high priestess, magician, devil, 5 of cups energy. This is exactly what this is saying. to get the High Priestess's full-on intuition. She is the manifester. I mean, she works magic, and then complemented with the Magician, which is anchoring in your higher wisdom into your present reality, into your material world. As above, so below is what the Magician does. He is of the material world. So that's, again, a balance between that High Priestess, like so magical, and the Magician is saying, like, yeah, but let's anchor that in, let's ground it. And the Devil is like releasing self-sabotaging behaviors. We've got that in here as well. And the Five of Cups is like, I think we need to move into a state of gratitude for what we have. And the Devil is saying, stop self-sabotaging, stop just focusing on like how you think things should look, and so you're like just poking at it, versus seeing like acceptance, which is judgment. We're moving into full-on acceptance. So yeah, have a great full moon. Bye.